To steal an Instagram account this year, you did not need a password. You did not need the email, or the phone number, or any code. You opened a chat with customer support and asked. Support was an AI. The AI had the ability to change account details. And the AI, being helpful, helped. This worked for 7 weeks before anyone in charge noticed. 20,225 accounts were taken this way, including a dormant White House account and a U.S. Space Force sergeant. In March, Meta rolled AI support out across Facebook and Instagram. The pitch was reasonable and honestly quite appealing. Human support at that scale is slow, expensive, and famously frustrating. So the bot was given real powers, not just answers. Its product page promised solutions rather than suggestions. Account security and recovery were listed among the things it handled, which is a polite way of saying it could reset your password. Somebody, somewhere, approved that, and it shipped. Here is the entire attack. It fits in 4 steps. 1. Open a support chat about an account that is not yours. 2. Ask the assistant to add a new email address to it. The assistant sends a verification code to that new address, which is your address, because you just supplied it. 3. Read the code out of your own inbox and give it back. 4. The bot now offers you a password reset. That is it. That is the whole thing. No exploit, no malware, no code written by anybody. A conversation in plain language with a helpful assistant. There was one small obstacle, and it was almost sweet. The support system used your physical location as a security signal. If the request came from far away, it might get flagged. So attackers switched on a VPN set to the victim's region. That was the entire defense, where you appeared to be standing. Once that matched, nothing else objected.
There was exactly one thing that stopped it working: 2-factor authentication. If you had it on, the trick failed. If you did not, you were simply available. The earliest confirmed takeover happened on the
Most victims were ordinary people with ordinary accounts. Small businesses, photographers, people with a few thousand followers. But 2 names made the story impossible to ignore. One was the dormant Instagram handle of the Obama-era White House, inactive since 2017, still an official government account. The other belonged to the Chief Master Sergeant of the U.S. Space Force. A security researcher also had her account taken. She described repeated password reset attempts arriving throughout the day. For most people, the first sign was an email they did not request. Then another. Then a notification that the password had changed. Then, nothing, because the account no longer belonged to them. This is the part of the story that stops being funny. For a small business, that account is the shopfront. For a photographer, it is a decade of work and every client contact. The hijackers also obtained contact details, dates of birth, and profile information. And access to anything linked to the account. Late in May, complaints started clustering on Reddit and X. The same story over and over from unconnected strangers. Now, the genuinely absurd part. People whose accounts were taken tried to get help. They opened support. Support was the assistant. The same system that granted the access was the appeals process. Victims reported there was no way to escalate to a person. You could explain the situation to it as clearly as you liked. It would be sympathetic. It would not be able to help. The door had a bot on both sides of it. On the 31st of May, the story reached Technology Press. By the 1st of June, it was everywhere. Researchers had already been circulating video of the method. Some of it had been sitting in group chats since March. On the Monday, Meta said the issue had been resolved. The chatbot's ability to do this was removed. The fix took, by all appearances, a matter of hours, which raises an obvious and uncomfortable question about the 7 weeks. The real scale arrived later and quietly. Not in a press release, in a regulatory filing. Companies must notify authorities when personal data is exposed. That filing put the figure at 20,225. 30 of them in a single small state. It is not the largest breach of the year. It is not close. But almost every larger one required actual technical skill. This one required the ability to be polite in writing. The real lesson here is not that chatbots are bad. The chatbot did exactly what it was designed to do. It was helpful. It resolved the request. It did not escalate. The mistake was upstream, in what it was allowed to touch. Somebody decided a language model could change account ownership. The model has no way to know that is unusual. It has no suspicion, because suspicion was never part of the job. It was hired to say yes efficiently. It did.
Turn on two-factor authentication. That is the whole practical takeaway. If this is your kind of story, there are more on the channel. Subscribe for the next one. A whistleblower who was the hacker. And tell me below, would you have thought to just ask?